Hello everybody, this is DIY Graphic Design. In this tutorial I'll explain how to use tools in Gimp. In Gimp, the toolbox is located up here in the left upper corner by default. Right now I'm in a single window mode. If I go to Windows and untick single window mode, then all my panels detach. I could rearrange them and create different workflow if I needed to. But for right now, I'm going to stay in single window mode. And the first several tools are made for selection. So very often in GIMP, as you work on your image, you will need to select certain part of your image and then work within this selected area. And this is what these tools are meant to do and help you with. So the first one is a tool that allows you to create a square or rectangular selection. The second one is similar, but it allows you to create circular or round selections. The third one, free select tool, allows you to actually hand draw your selection. Something like this. The fuzzy select tool allows you to select a lighter or darker areas of your image, especially if the image is high in contrast. Select by color allows you to select several different shades of the same color. And the scissor select allows you to hand draw your selection, but it does have a little magnetic tool that sort of predicts for you your next move. And then you can adjust your selection the way you like it. The next one is Foreground select tool. It's similar to freehand select tool, but it's a little bit different in the sense that if I make selection here, I could paint through that selection, hit enter, and then it makes the selection around the area that I want. To deselect something in GIMP, you simply go to select and then none, or Command Shift A, or Control Shift A if you're working on Windows. The path tool is used for creating hand-drawn shapes. It's really easy in GIMP to create perfect geometric shapes, like for example a square or a circle, a triangle. But what if you needed to create hand-drawn specific shape? Like for example this one. I can simply hand draw this. I could move my ends, and then by going to selection from path, I'm going to make a selection here, and then if I go to my bucket tool, for example, I can just fill in this selection. It becomes hand-drawn shape. The next tool is color picker. It simply picks the color. Let's say I want this orange, and here in my color palette I can see the color that I'm picking. The magnifying glass simply allows you to zoom in and out. If I hold down Command key and I click, then it will zoom out, and then if I just click without holding the Command key, it will zoom in. The next tool is measure tool. So if I take this use info window, I could go to measure the distance from center of the image to the edge. The next tool is move tool, as the tool that you will be using quite a lot. It's also a good idea to learn the shortcuts to these tools, especially the ones that you will be using. If I go with my mouse over any of the tools, the little name box will appear explaining what the tool is used for, and then the last letter that you see represents the shortcut key for that specific tool. So the next one would be for alignment, and this would be simply if you had several different objects within your image, you could simply align them perfectly by using this tool. Crop tool allows you to simply crop your image. So you must select the area that you want to crop, and then you just hit enter, and then it crops your image. The next tool is rotation tool. Allows you to rotate your image the way you want. The next one is to scale your image. You could make it bigger or smaller. This one is shear tool, so I could shear my image. This one is perspective, so I could change the perspective. This one is simply to flip your image, which is kind of nice. And this one is cage transform, to distort your image, which I don't find very useful. I don't think it's a well-developed tool yet. The next tool is text tool. I can simply create text. So the next tool is bucket tool. If I simply create a selection and go to my bucket tool, I can fill up this selection with the bucket tool. The next tool is gradient tool. So if I make, let's say I make selection here, and I create a gradient. The next several tools are a pencil, brush, airbrush, and ink tool. They're all meant for drawing, painting, and so on. They're very precise and quite good. Eraser tool simply erases everything. The next tool is clone tool. You simply take the area that you want to clone from and then take it over to the area where you want this cloned sample to be copied to. So for example, if I come here, I have to hold down Command key on a Mac or Control key on a Windows and make sample from here. And then if I go down here, I can see that it's simply copying from the area that I selected earlier. But it's copying, as you can notice, it's copying literally pixel by pixel what's been selected. If I go to healing tool, it does similar thing, but it's not pixel by pixel, so I still have to make a selection and then go down here, and then it kind of does it, but in a more subtle way as opposed to healing brush. So it kind of smudges the area. So sometimes you will be using your clone tool and sometimes healing brush. The next one is perspective clone tool, and it simply works in a way that you define the area that you want to be cloned, something like this. In my adjustments, I have to switch it to perspective clone. I have to take the sample from here, so holding down Command key and click on it, and then I can start cloning up here. Now the difference is that it's cloning with the perspective. So the next one is blur and sharpen tool. So if I click on it, down here I have to make sure that I'm blurring or sharpening. So if I'm blurring, I can simply come here or up here and blur my image. If I wanted to sharpen, I just have to switch over to sharpen, and then it will start sharpening my image. The next tool is Smudge Tool. So it simply smudges my image. And the last tool is Burn and Dodge tool. So this tool allows me to make certain parts of my image darker or lighter. And it works in a way that if I have option dodge, it will simply gradually make lighter the area of the image that I'm going over. If I wanted to burn, I could then gradually start burning this image. This tool is very much used for gradual adjustments. And the last thing to mention about tools is that each tool has its own sets of adjustments. So if I click on any of the tools, the adjustments will then switch to that tool. And that's it.